Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday's edition of Morning Brews. I'm pretty excited about this week. We're going to be talking about planning. So, planning your week, planning your day, different things you can do, how I prioritize the tasks that I have, and stay on top of everything I need to do. So before we jump into this week's topic, I will tell you that this is something I have not been very good at my whole life. It is essentially something I had to learn over time. So obviously, we've talked about me being in the military before and how, essentially they do all the planning and coordination and kind of tell you where and when to show up. And so that is how I operated. Of course, writing down notes occasionally um, as you progress in rank in the military. You keep a leader's book with you, and so maybe you write down important times as they apply to you and your team or your squad. However, fully organizing my time, not just as it relates to work, but personal as well, is definitely something that I didn't fully grasp or really even care about until I got out of the Army and started to notice that when I apply myself and I take that small portion of time to plan my day, plan my week, is when I really started to see a lot of success. So this morning I have just 3 bullet points for you. Number one, do it at the beginning. So on Sundays is when I plan my week. 2, get a good picture of what you need to do. 3, use a calendar and a checklist. So number one, doing it at the beginning, doing it on Sunday. Usually Sundays, it's the end of the weekend. More than likely, if you're anything like me, you probably plan very few things on Sunday to kind of keep your time freed up. Here soon, there are 2 things that I will essentially have planned for Sundays. And if they happen consistently, it won't be every single Sunday. So it's also a little bit of rest and relaxation. It doesn't usually take more than maybe 15 minutes to plan my week out. That is because as far as events on the calendar, I'm a very digital guy. We'll jump into that under number 3, but I can usually duplicate events that happen on a recurring basis, or may have them set up to be recurring already. And as far as the checklists, I normally keep up with that throughout the week. So if there's something coming up I need to do that hasn't been added to my checklist already, I can just go in and add it. And then yeah, we'll get into the calendar and the checklist a little bit under number 3, but really planning my week out on Sundays doesn't take a lot of time, and I encourage you to get to a point where it doesn't take you a lot of time, because it shouldn't be something that is a burden. It should be something that really you just touch on the highlights, notice what you have coming up for that week, and kind of make sure you don't have any overlaps, you're not double booked. So when it comes time to do whatever the thing is that you need to do, you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't forget that it's happening, and if you do need to reschedule anything, you're well aware of that come Sunday when you do your planning. So normally takes me less than 15 minutes. Like I said, I encourage you to spend time with it, but just not a lot of time. You really just need to know, okay, what do I have coming up this week? What are some things that I absolutely have to get done? What are some things that may not be a priority? And then kind of working through those and coming up with a system to, once again, remind yourself keep track of them, check them off if you need to. So that kind of leads me into number two, getting a good picture of what it is you need to do. So I think there's really two types of things that anyone needs to get done throughout the week, and that is the first one is things that take place on a regular basis. So that could be something that you do every single day, like brushing your teeth, or that could be something that you do every week, like planning your week out. Those are regularly recurring things that once placed on your calendar, it's easy to kind of copy, paste, duplicate, whatever your process is. These things also more than likely take place at the same time every single day or every single week. So, for example, I put pretty much everything on my daily routine checklist, from waking up to going to sleep, and that's primarily so as I visit the checklist, more than likely I've done something since the last time I checked something off. So it gives me the ability to check stuff off. It kind of, we talked about this before, but it reinstills that sense of accomplishment in me. So if I put something in there like wake up at 4 a.m., when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm headed on to whatever my first task is, which could be as simple as use the bathroom, brush your teeth, take a shower. Then as I'm headed in there, I can already check off one thing because it says wake up at 4 a.m. I woke up, I checked the box. So once I'm done brushing my teeth, maybe I'm getting ready to go to the gym and I'm like, oh, sweet, I can check off brush teeth. It sounds kind of silly to keep track of such tiny little things, but I have found that that's something that really helps me to stay focused and stay motivated and keep tabs on that checklist. So whatever works for you, but once you have a good picture of those recurring events, you can lay those out throughout your day, throughout your week, as you need to. And then getting a good picture, the other thing that really should be on your calendar. So I talked about the two different types of events or tasks that would be on your calendar, and the recurring ones was the first one, daily, weekly. They just always happen, so you always have to get them done. The flip side of that are the things that maybe are not regularly occurring events. And so a couple of those. Number one, Business and Brews recording. I only record the Business and Brews show the first week of each month. This month, I think it actually starts kind of at the end of the month, so you have that week that overlaps. But it's just Monday through Friday. There's 2 hours each of those days that I'm recording an episode. And so that doesn't take place necessarily on, it takes place on a regular basis in a sense of once every month, the first week of the month. However, it's also scheduled by the person that wants to be on the show. So I look at my calendar, I'm able to see what those times are, who's going to be on the show, what type of company they own, and get a good picture of, okay, this is what my week is about to look like. This is what I need to prepare for. So that's one example. Another example is I have a personal Calendly as well, where someone wants a phone call. I've used this recently. Sometimes hopping on the phone can be as simple as someone calling me or me calling them. However, if as you get more and more organized, planning your week, planning your day, you may find very little time here and there to hold phone calls, especially longer ones that may deal with business or helping someone else with their business, whatever the case may be. So I use that to allow other people to schedule calls with me. It helps keep me organized. It puts it on my calendar automatically. So that's very advantageous as well. And it those are the types of things. Last week, for example, had one of those calls, and I was able to look at my calendar. I saw that I had it coming up. It was at a little bit of a weird time. Just I think because of the settings that I have, but because it was on my calendar, I was prepared for it. I was in the middle of some training, and I knew it was coming up, and it was only a phone call. So it was really easy. About 1 or 2 minutes before the phone call, I basically finished up what I was doing. Walked over. I like to use my Bluetooth headset, so I made sure it was connected. So it kept me on task. And once again, I saw that phone call was coming up during my weekly planning session because it gets put right on my calendar. So I encourage you to use stuff like that as far as Calendly to stay organized. When someone else schedules a call or a visit with you, it gets put on your calendar automatically. And that brings me to bullet point number 3, which is use a calendar and a checklist. I use Google Calendar and Google Keep in order to maintain my checklist as well as my calendar. It allows for easy duplication of events. So if I've got something that happens every single Monday, I can set that up. I can set up an end date if it's going to happen every Monday for 2 months. I can set up custom schedules. So for example, every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's something I want to make sure I get done. So instead of repeating every single day, it repeats every week on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You can also integrate the Google Keep checklist with Google Calendar. So you set reminders on Google Keep, it throws it on your calendar. And so every day, Monday through, I think, Friday, my daily routine notifies me, hey, you need to get this stuff done. And then my weekend, Saturday, and Sunday checklists are a little bit different because obviously I'm not working. So it's really nice. It keeps me organized. I would say if you are a pen and paper person, then definitely stick to that. Nothing against pen and paper, just not for me, because I have to sit down and write out every single event. If it's an event that takes place every Monday through Friday, then I don't want to write it down. I'm also very limited on the amount of space I have with pen and paper, so it just doesn't work for me. But if it works for you, you can get those desk calendars, you can get a pocket calendar, you can use a calendar on your phone, whatever works best. And I encourage you to do that and do a checklist as well, because then when you finish those tasks, you're able to check them off. So I went a little bit long today, but that's what I got for you. Planning your week out. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about planning your day and how that shouldn't take up quite as much time. Kind of goes hand in hand with what we talked about today. But this week is planning, so be sure to stick around, listen to all the episodes of Morning Brews, and if you enjoy it, if it's helpful, then be sure to leave us a 5-star review. Tell your friends to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Ryan Smeltz, and I will see you on tomorrow's episode of Morning Brews.